Karl. So 15-inch MacBook Air, I've used it for the past little bit, and I really think this is the best laptop that Apple currently sells. And previously, if you wanted a larger form factor MacBook, you had to upgrade to the MacBook Pro. That was now the 16. Obviously, before that, they had the 15-inch model. With the MacBook Air or the classic MacBook lineup, you were limited to around that 13-inch mark. And I've been such a fan of using large displays because I use my laptop as my main device. I like it because it just has the extra screen real estate. I edit most of my YouTube videos. I watch a lot of content on it. Having a larger display as a one device machine just makes so much sense to me. And if you have to upgrade to a MacBook Pro, you usually had to pay an extra $1,000, $1,500 just to have that larger form factor. And I currently have my 16-inch MacBook Pro right here. So this is rocking the M2 Max. This is a fully spec'd model. But my biggest issue with MacBook Pros now, I think they've just become too pro for my workflow. For most people, like 96 gigs of RAM is just completely bonkers. It's overkill. You'd probably never spec it with that anyways. It's so ridiculous that even my last gen, my MacBook Pro with the M1 Max chip, which is behind me, I still use that, and that still honestly handles all of my daily needs. Like, what do? I record these YouTube videos. I record in 4K. We've got 2 streams. Maybe my third cam up top is recording 3 streams of 4K. It handles that like absolute butter. And I would say that I'm typically on the pro side of workflows for, I guess, an amateur. If I was a true pro, I'd be in studio. I would probably justify spending this kind of money, or my company or my production studio would probably buy it for me. But for the average person, the pro model has just become, like I said, too pro for most people. And I think that's where the MacBook Air, and I think that's where Apple Silicon really, really shines, especially now with the new M2 chip. If you spec this, I think this is perfect for 95% of people out there. And now finally, if you want that larger form factor, if you don't need that size, if you don't need that heft, these are heavy computers. I've been traveling around with this for 35,000 miles in the past 2 weeks. Having something lighter is just so much nicer to carry around. So this is right around 3.3 pounds, and it has a considerable size difference to the 13-inch MacBook Air. So much so that I don't actually own one anymore. And actually Nick, who's on the B cam now, actually brought his 14-inch MacBook Pro. You can kind of see the size difference here, and that extra screen real estate is just so much nicer. So there are a couple things obviously with the display. They've got the same pixel density, but because this is an IPS panel, it has only up to 500 nits of brightness. It isn't ProMotion like on the MacBook Pros. These obviously get up to 1,000 nits. I think 1,500 nits at peak brightness with HDR content. These have the better displays, but in terms of the overall form factor and price, this is definitely where it's at. The thinness of this is just kind of next level. Apple has really packed a lot into this super thin, ultralight form factor. And the actual spec, I think a lot of people wonder which to get. So the starting price of this is at $12.99, and the 13-inch was reduced by $100, so there's a $200 difference there. I think only you can decide which size option you want, but I'm definitely recommending the 15-inch model unless it really can't fit into your backpack or a small bag that you have. So this one, unfortunately, is still at 8 gigs of RAM. Like I said, $1,299. I think the Canadian conversion, we're stuck at around $1,750 or $1,749, which is shitty. The base storage option is 256 gigs, and in typical Apple fashion, to upgrade either the RAM or the hard drive, you're looking at around $200, $250. So to pick one, honestly, the RAM is the option to go for. All of that is soldered on, so kind of what you see is what you get for the next 3 to 4 years. You can't upgrade that after the fact, and you can always work off of a little SSD. This is the one that I always use from Lexar to edit all my videos. This video is actually edited on this machine. It's lightning quick, and if you can get by with that base storage, the 16 gigs of RAM option, I'll leave my recommended spec, like I said, down below. That is the model to go for. So for overall performance, like I said, we've maxed out performance on the M2 Pro, the M2 Max. That's just overkill. For everything that I do, I can get by just using the M2 chip. Like, Apple Silicon has come such a long way. It is so much better than the Intel-based platform. I think Apple is doing such an awesome job. And for video editing in 4K, multiple streams, for photo stuff, for doing your day-to-day stuff when you're a student, when you're multitasking, typing out emails, working on essays, programming, probably just watching Netflix, all that kind of cool stuff. Everything runs without hiccup on the new Airs. One thing that I was initially a bit skeptical about, but I've used it a lot more and I've actually just been turned around, was the speaker layout. So coming from a MacBook Pro, you obviously have all the speakers, the actual cutouts on the side. This MacBook Air has an upgraded speaker system to the 13-inch. This has 6 speakers versus the 4, and they've actually done a pretty decent job on it. It actually sounds very similar to the MacBook Pro lineup, and I'm not too sure what Apple has done, but they're actually built in underneath. The sound quality is really good, and I do think Apple, or I guess MacBooks in general, have some of the best sound output for any sort of laptop. So those are really good. The trackpad has been increased in size from the 13-inch. It once again is very similar to the larger 16-inch model. It's the same keyboard layout, which we know and love, and I would say the last part is the I/O. So with MacBook Airs, I guess this is one of the drawbacks. You only have the MagSafe connector. It is color matched. Speaking of which, this does come in the 4 color options, same as the 13-inch model. So you have the Midnight, which collects way too many fingerprints, Silver, Space Gray, and we've got the Starlight here, which is almost a bit like champagne, a muted gold, which I'm actually a bit of a fan of, and the 2 USB-C Thunderbolt 4, and typically just try to charge with MagSafe so you keep these 2 slots free, one for your SSD and another one for an extra peripheral, and on the other side we just have the good old headphone jack. But that is kind of my thoughts summed up on the new MacBook Air. Super dope device. I'm finally glad to see we have a larger form factor laptop that isn't a Pro device that doesn't, you know, bleed you from the bank. It's still relatively affordable, and I can confidently say this has probably been my favorite Apple laptop upgrade in the past 5 years, and I'm curious to see how these sell. Like, I'm sure the MacBook Air, like the 13-inch, those won't sell as good, and a lot of people will be migrating over to this. You know my spec. If you've got any more questions, let me know down below in the comments, and hope you pick up your Airs 15 inches. Peace.